Hello, welcome to the Self Learning Platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we start Unit 4 Theories of War. Let us have introduction about the unit. War, like diplomacy, propaganda, etc., is an instrument of national policy. It has been used by states to achieve their national goals and aspirations and fulfill their national interests. Questions of war and peace are central to the understanding of international relations. These are questions that involve the problem of survival. Today, the term war is used in many different ways. We speak of Cold War, Hot War, Limited War, Total War, conventional and unconventional war, civil war, guerrilla war, preventative war, and so on. Wars have also been labeled as imperialist wars or wars of national liberation, depending on the perceptions of the users. A variety of statistical studies will tell us about the repeated recurrence of war in the world over the past several centuries. In the 20th century, despite the horrors of two world wars and the nuclear holocaust, the incidence of war has not diminished. Although there have been peace between the great powers in the last half of the 20th century, the number of regional or civil armed conflicts has continued to grow, reaching a peak of 68 in the year 2000. A majority of these were low intensity and intrastate, and mostly confined to the developing part of the world. In 1968, historians Will and Ariel Durant calculated that there had been only 268 years free of war in the previous 3,421 years. It is most likely that they undercounted the wars. Certainly, there has been no year without war since. This unit examines two aspects of war: what is war and what are the causes of war, by examining the different theories and conceptions of war. The next two units of this course will look at the various types of wars and understand why they are classified in the way that they are. Now let us understand what is war. Today, the spectrum of war has expanded from the traditional military dimension to areas like political and economic warfare, psychological warfare, etc. But the traditional definition of war still use the narrow point of reference. Hoffman Nicholson in the Encyclopedia Britannica states that war is the use of organized force between two human groups pursuing contradictory policies, each group seeking to impose its policies upon the other. Yet another scholar, Malinowski, defines war as an armed conflict between two independent political units by means of organized military force in pursuit of a tribal or national policy. A mention must be made of Karl von Clausewitz's argument that war is only a part of political intercourse, therefore, by no means an independent thing in itself. War is nothing but a continuation of political intercourse with an admixture of other means. This definition helps in understanding the broader setting in which war is located. Queen Wright accepts that war is based on the diplomatic, economic, and propaganda fronts as well as on the military front, and that the art of war coordinates all these elements to the purpose of victory. Yet he argues that in the narrower sense, the art is confined to the military aspect. This embraces the organization, discipline, and the maintenance of morale of the armed forces, the invention, development, and procurement of weapons, the provision of transport and movement of forces, strategy of campaigns, and tactics of battle, etc. The larger problems of military policy, such as determination of national policy, national public opinion, economy, diplomacy, etc., lie in the realm of national international policies. Now we are going to discuss theories of causes of war. There has been a lot of study devoted to analyzing the causes of war, but no consensus has emerged on the matter. Some of the confusion lies in the inability to distinguish between the immediate and long term causes or underlying causes. In some cases, the analysis is cast in ideological terms, and then only a single cause is focused upon. Some causes are immediate and some are basic. Some refer to specific events and acts committed by the countries, while others may look at various forces and underlying trends. Each of these causes needs to be explored, and there can be no one final answer to the question, what is the cause of war? Generally, the causes of war are classified under political, economic, social, and psychological causes. Quincy Wright points out that causes of war can be looked at from different angles. War has politico technological, zero ideological, socio religious, and psycho-economic causes. For Marxists, the roots of war are located in capitalism and imperialism. They also distinguish between certain kinds of wars, like imperialist wars, revolutionary wars, and wars of national liberation. Others look for psychological causes and stress on the feeling of insecurity that nations feel. The causes of war are related to war as an instrument of national policy, since wars are fought for the safeguard of national objectives, goals, and aspirations. This may relate to territory, to identify, or to the very survival of the nation state. It is convenient to discuss the theoretical approaches that seek to understand the causes of war at the following level of analysis. First, system level causes. Second, state level causes. And third, individual level causes. First, we are going to discuss system level analysis. System level analysis adopts a top down approach to the study of world politics. The central argument of this approach is that state and non state actors operate in a global social, cultural, economic, political, geographical environment, and that the features of the system determine the behavior of the actors. Four factors determine how a system functions: structural characteristics of a system, power relationships of the members within the system, economic realities that impinges upon the system, and the norms and conventions that are likely to govern the behavior of the actors. The structural factors of a system refer to the organization of authority within the systems, the actors, and the level of interactions. The international system does not have a vertical system of authority. It may best be described as anarchic, where anarchy implies a lack of a centralized international authority and the existence of sovereign nation states pursuing their individual national interests. Traditionally, students of international relations have looked at nation states as the central actors on the global scene. Today, one has to recognize the existence of non state actors as having an important role to play in international relations. Some NGOs, such as the Amnesty International or Greenpeace, have played an important role in international relations. So have some multinational corporations and MNCs. Today, terrorist organizations would also be classified as non state actors. Other prominent non state actors may include such intergovernmental and regional bodies like the WTO or regional economic trade blocs like the APEC, European Union, etc. The level of interaction between both the state and non state actors has increased over the years. The intensity of this interaction is seen mainly in non military areas like human rights, economic relations, and social sectors. The power relationship within the system refers to the distribution of power. We have moved from the age of European domination in the pre World War era to US Soviet bipolarity of the Cold War years. Today, one talks of the age of American dominance in the post Soviet era. These changing power relationships and the resultant changes in the balance of power in the world have been a continuing reality of international relations. The economic reality refers to the natural resources that a country has and the level of its economic and industrial development. The North South divide in the world is based on the economic realities of a developed world in the North and a developing or less developed world in the South. While it is true that we live in an economically interdependent world, the realities of the dominant developed world cannot be wished away. Conflicts are not only over scarce resources, they are also over control of the available resources in the world. The history of colonialism has been understood in terms of economic realities of the control. In modern times, oil, for example, has emerged as one of the key economic instruments. How important are norms and conventions in governing the world order? This is a topic that has been debated by many. The general perception is that nations would not seek to disturb the order in international relations unless there are some really compelling reasons. The debates over the Iraq war in 2003 focused on whether the US and Britain violated international norms as represented in the United Nations when they were into war against Iraq. At the system level analysis, therefore, the following issues are focused on as causes of war: the distribution of power, relative power postures, and power vacuums, the balance of power politics, alliance politics, etc., are mentioned as possible causes of war. The anarchical nature of the system is also considered a cause of war. The insecurity that is caused amongst nations due to a lack of a centralized authority may lead to an arms race that eventually may spill into a war. One may explain the need for pursuing nuclear weapons policy by the developing world as a means to overcome this sense of insecurity. At the economic level, oil and natural gas, strategic minerals are looked as possible sources of conflict in the modern world. The Iraq Iran war, American action on Iraq is sometimes looked at within the framework of politics of oil. Samuel Huntington's thesis of clash of civilization is yet another systematic perspective of wars. The central argument made reference to the key causes of future wars to be ethno-religious and therefore civilizational and not state-centric. Here we want to wind up this lecture. Thank you so much for your attention.